This special meeting of the Board of School Directors will please come to order. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Director Ferguson,
Present.
Director Garcia,
Present.
Director Gokul Gandhi,
Here.
Director O'Halloran,
Here.
Director Seamson,
Present.
Director Zomber,
Present.
and President Herndon.
Present.
That's 7 present. We have a quorum.
Will the secretary please read the call of the meeting?
To the members of the Board of School Directors, at the request of President Marva Herndon, a special meeting of the Milwaukee Board of School Directors is scheduled to take place in the auditorium of the Central Services Building, 5225 West Fleet Street, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This meeting will be broadcast on WYMS Radio 88.9 FM or on Time Warner Spectrum Channel 13 and via live stream and the MPS YouTube stream at mpsmke.com/broadcast. Special board meeting, Tuesday, December 17th, 2024, 6:30 p.m., or immediately following the adjournment of the meeting of the Committee on Accountability, Finance, and Personnel. The purpose of this meeting is to retire to closed session to consider applications for the position of Superintendent of Schools. President Herndon has advised that she will accept a motion to retire to closed session for this purpose pursuant to Wisconsin Statutes 19.85, Parent 1, Parent C, which states that the board may convene an executive session for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. While the board is not expected to take any action other than to retire to closed session, if the board determines that it will take action on matters discussed in the closed session, it will do so in open session. Otherwise, the board may adjourn from closed session.
Thank you. The Pledge of Allegiance was recited at the previous meeting. Before we proceed to our agenda, I will ask that we share in a moment of silence to commemorate the passing of former State Supreme Court Justice David Prosser. I will also ask that we hold this moment of silence to remember the victims of Monday's tragic incident at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. We acknowledge that Milwaukee lies on traditional Menominee, Potawatomi, and Ho-Chunk homeland along the southwest shores of Lake Michigan, part of North America's largest system of freshwater lakes. On this site, the Milwaukee, Menominee, and Kinnickinnic rivers meet, and the people of Wisconsin's Menominee, Ojibwa, Ho-Chunk, Oneida, and Mohegan sovereign nations remain present to this day. This meeting is being conducted in person from the Central Services Building and is broadcast on WYMS Radio 88.9 FM and via live stream on the MPS website and on the MPS YouTube stream, links to which may be found on the MPS website on the broadcast page. Before we begin tonight's meeting, we have a short announcement regarding interpretation services for the Spanish-speaking members of our audience.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a la Junta de la Mesa Directiva de las Escuelas Públicas de Milwaukee. Si desea escuchar esta reunión en español, por favor llame al 312-626-6799 e introduzca el número de reunión 832-0725-4267, seguido por el símbolo de número. Luego, introduzca el código 883149, seguido por el símbolo de número. Nuevamente, para escuchar esta reunión en español, llame al 312-626-6799 e introduzca el número de reunión 832-0725-4267, seguido por el símbolo de número. Luego, introduzca el código 883149, seguido por el símbolo de número.
Thank you. As was stated in the public notice, and as is customary, the board will not be taking public comment at this meeting. Written testimony will be accepted for transmittal to the board. Send this testimony to the Office of Board Governance, P.O. Box 2181, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53201-2181, or fax to 414-475-8071, or email it to governance@milwaukee.k12.wi.us. Just as a reminder, Robert's Rules of Order dictate that all comments should be directed to the chair. Also, any questions or requests, including those from the public, committee members, or the administration, are to be directed toward the chair, who will determine the most efficient way to address them. For the safety of all and to ensure the good order of the meeting, harassment or intimidation tactics of any kind will not be tolerated. Anyone who engages in such harassing or intimidating words or actions will immediately be asked to cease. If such behavior continues, a recess will be called and the offending parties will be removed from the meeting. Anyone ejected from the meeting may continue to listen to the meeting or access the agenda items online. However, the individual will not be allowed to rejoin the meeting. Also, no one other than members of the board, designated staff, and those who have been invited to present or participate in items of business will be allowed on stage before, during, or after meetings of the board and its committees. Finally, for our listening audience, if you wish to access the evening's agenda items and attachments online, you may do so by visiting the Meetings, Agendas, and Minutes page of the MPS website. Now let's begin. Madam Secretary, item 1.
Item 1 is action on a request to retire to closed session to consider applications for the position of Superintendent of Schools. The recommendation is that the board retire to closed session for consideration of this item.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Before I call for a motion, I would like to clarify for the public what we'll be doing at this meeting. The board has been in the process of selecting the next superintendent of schools. Our search team has been the last 2 months holding one-on-one meetings with stakeholders and conducting public engagement sessions. We have received over 30 applications. Tonight, the board will consider these applications and determine a slate of at least 6 candidates that will be invited to a first-round interview. We will not be announcing the chosen slate of candidates tonight. It is anticipated that we will hold the first-round interview on January 11th, 2025. Once we have narrowed the slate of our final candidates, their names will be announced soon thereafter. At this time, I will accept a motion to retire to closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statutes 19.85(1) for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Could we have a roll call, please?
Need a motion?
Motion, Director O'Halloran.
I move that we retire to closed session to consider the applications.
And a second is needed.
I second.
Director Ferguson.
On Director O'Halloran's motion to retire to closed session to consider applications for the position of Superintendent of Schools pursuant to Wisconsin Statutes 19.85, Parent 1, Parent C, Director Ferguson,
Aye.
Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Gokul Gandhi,
Aye.
Director O'Halloran,
Aye.
Director Seamson,
Aye.
Director Zamzer,
Aye.
and President Hernan.
Aye.
That's 7 ayes, the motion passes.
The board will now retire to closed session. The board may return to open session to take action on matters introduced in closed session. Otherwise, the board will adjourn from closed session. Madam Secretary, please note the time.